Hi Adam, I'm looking at your Blogwork 3, a different point of view for Twelfth Night. I think it's a great title. You might, you, I don't think I would change it. I think that you're onto something with that title. It's really very provocative. I'm going to read the first paragraph. When you read a book, you are limited in what you can notice. Some of the things that you are limited by are how much you can remember and what you can notice while you read. By using some of the different tools on Voyant, we are able to see more information, and it can give use more insight into Shakespeare's obsessions in Twelfth Night. So of course here there's some drop words, but let me just tell you this paragraph is really well done. It's very succinct, tells us exactly what we're using, where we're going, and I think it's great. I might include at the end here something about what those obsessions are. You could fill this out, and if this does become a research paper, you would want to list some of the many possibilities. And of course you have to restrict them, but there are so many possibilities, right? We've been talking about the various strands. So that's great. Wonderful paragraph there. I might, the second time that you mentioned Voyant, actually declare what these tools are. That they are for textual analysis, that they make visualizations. You could paraphrase some of the descriptive language that you find on the site, and so you can actually share this with the reader who may or may not go to discover what Voyant is for themselves, right? That's really crucial, right? What kind of readers are reading this post? They may not go look. So you have to give them enough information so that they understand what you're talking about, or maybe, enough information so that they'll go look themselves. One of the tools I found to be helpful was the trends. Maybe just call this trends. Delete the article "the" over here. This was useful, again, this vague pronoun, which I always talk about. This was useful because most people don't go and count the frequency of each word in the story, in the play, right? Let's get the genre correct here. And the frequency allows us to see the trends over the entire book. I found this to be the most useful when I used the terms Olivia, Viola, and Love. Look at that. You can see all of the letters they have in common when they're listed that way. Beautiful. When I did my mind map, wonderful, you refer to the previous assignment. Maybe you want to include a hyperlink to the previous assignment here. That would be useful. I found that Viola and Olivia were the two people who had talked to the most people and seemed to occur throughout the play consistently. This seeming to occur, do you mean that they were privileged and they came on the stage most consistently? I'm not sure what that means, so clarify that. I decided to also add love in this because it always seemed like love was a popular topic for a conversation in the book. The resulting graph showed an interesting graph. Or how about the resulting graph is interesting, showing, as it does, that Olivia was present throughout most of the book, or at least present in language, right? But it seemed like Viola's presence was more consistent. Also, when love is mentioned, it is inversely proportional to the parts of the play that Olivia is in, until halfway through the play where that changes. What a wonderful analysis you're on to, and of course this will get more fine-grained as we go along, but I think you're doing a beautiful job interpreting what these graphs are doing. Remember that these are mentions of their names, so they're being talked about, or their names appearing as a character name on the side. So it's not quite as honest as choosing other kinds of terms. The links tool, this is your second tool, and I think I would identify this sort of larger, bolder, capitalized from Voyant was very helpful, as it seemed to be very similar to the mind map that I made, but was more in depth. Here I would take a moment to show how it is more in depth, and show that it has a multidimensional purpose, which a mind domo cannot do. One of the things that I found interesting about this tool was that it helped show which words were linked to each other. And there is a kind of interactive moment there, right? Because you can recombine these as you change your searches. This created some interesting information, right? Don't be slang here. I know it's an online space, but let's be formal as possible. We want to be as professional as possible with our language, such as that it linked lady with fool, and also some people or some characters, like Sir Andrew had too many words. So this is TOO. Make sure you do that. This part seems to be a separate sentence. So make sure you subdivide that, add a proper verb, and move forward. This helped to show how there are certain groups of people in the play and that there is a common person between the groups that ties the two groups together. Lovely. The last tool that I played with was a scatter plot on Voyant, again uppercase. I decided to limit to 30 terms as it tended to get crowded if there were too many terms in it. For the majority of the terms that appeared, they were names. All right, so I would change this, make this part of the sentence first, just reverse the order. The scatter plot also pulled a bunch of words that described some of the characters, such as Duke, Lord, Sir. The scatter plot had clusters in it, and each of these clusters had words that had some relation to each other. I'd probably discard the in it. An example is Sir, Toby, Knight, Fabian, and Andrew are all in the same cluster. Like the other graphs, this one also shows a connection between certain people, and that in the play there are groups that interact with certain people, and there's not much commingling between those groups. Wonderful observation. How the scenes are structured is very interesting. There is definitely some social manipulation going on. Hey, have you noticed how frequently you use certain? I think that you should take your blog and put it through the word cloud and see what words are used most frequently. I'll also tell you, just because I'm a pain, that you don't need a colon in your works cited page. Again, wonderful work. Thanks, Adam.